Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. It is August the 11th. I can't believe the summer's gone by so fast. And I guess before we go into all the shout outs and stuff, so I'm Hong Lu. I'm with Cash Property Inc. And today we are going to go and do a really strategic idea about making money on the buy. So before we get into that, though, I just want to mention, okay, we're going through a heat wave here. I'm in downtown Toronto and it is hot. So if you've got elderly parents like I do, please make sure that everybody's drinking lots of water. There's public places that you can go to that have full AC on all the time. So the mall, the library, Starbucks. Okay, just make sure that everybody's safe and drinking lots of water. Okay, so that's just my shout out there. Okay, so I am Hong Lu. I'm with Cash Party, and today we're going to go into how you can make money on the buy. Okay, and that's that's one of the ways to make money in real estate is making money on the buy, in addition to the cash flow, the appreciation, all that stuff. Okay, so before we get into that, let me just share a couple of events that are happening this week. Okay, so let's see, where are we going here? We are going over here. So I'm going to just share my screen with you. Okay, so let me get rid of that one. All right, so we've got a couple of things happening in Toronto. And so I just want to bring that up. If you're in Toronto, that would be fantastic for you to join us. If you're not in Toronto, that's fine. We are doing one of the items by Zoom. Okay, so the first thing is the WREN, the Women's Real Estate Network. We are doing a happy hour in August. So this Wednesday is our Wednesday happy hour. Okay, so the WREN happy hour. Okay, so in Toronto, we are meeting at the bar Bacan or Barcan. Okay, so reach out to me, DM me, or email me, and I will RSVP you for the happy hour in Toronto. This is where female and male, okay, you don't need to be a female to come out to the happy hour. Or to join the group. But what we will be doing is it's a networking, socializing event where you just come and talk about real estate over a drink, over a meal if you want. We do encourage everybody to buy something to support the restaurant. Okay, so it's entirely up to you. But then while you're there, you're networking, you're meeting with other investors, talking about real estate. Sometimes we talk about crypto and other investment opportunities as well. It depends on what people are working on. Okay, so highly recommended if you are able to join that. Okay, the other thing that is happening is the Cash Property Monthly Mastermind. So this is on the third Friday of every month. So that's coming up this Friday. And this month, yeah, every single month we meet on the third Friday and we talk about one specific real estate strategy that may make sense for you to at least consider, research, implement, so forth. And then we also network and we break out into little groups and talk about some of the challenges that we're going through and how we can, what solutions the group can give you to get through those challenges. So that's happening this Friday. I'm going to be camping with my kid and my nieces and nephews, but I will still be there on the monthly mastermind hosting that. So please come and join if you're interested in learning about real estate or growing your portfolio. Okay, so now with that said, let's get into today's real estate calculation here. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about a strategy that I got reminded about, which is buying now in a downturn, like the market softening. Okay, like there's no hiding from that. So whether you're in Toronto or Vancouver, this is probably the two best locations to do it in because the market is softening so much that we can actually with confidence say that the market is softening. Okay, so the idea here is that you want to buy a property. And I'm going to do the analysis on condos. It's not the idea that I love the most because I don't really support the whole condo townhouse purchase. But it does make sense to look at it on the condo townhouse platform and then seeing if you can apply it to single family or multifamily. Okay. And the reason why I want to talk about the townhouse or sharing it on the townhouse and the condo idea is because it's hard to get into the market if you're a first-time home buyers. And so I want to show you an idea and to help you get into that first purchase. And if you can get into the first purchase, the market when it's soft and we don't know how far down it's going to go. So research, okay? Start looking and making sure you've got the money lined up, making sure you've got your down payment, making sure you understand the first time home buyer rules, the mortgage rules, all of those things. Be in a position to buy, whether it's in 3 months or 6 months. Okay. So here's the idea here. The idea is that you want to find a condo building that you potentially may want to live in as your first time home purchase. Okay. And it's not your forever home. It's not your forever place. It gets you in the market. It allows for your savings, for some appreciation, get in the market. Okay. Because in now when the market is soft, this is how you're going to make some extra cash. Okay. So let's jump right into that. Okay. Now, if you are already an experienced buyer and you've got a portfolio, this may be an idea for you to, store some cash and sit on it, because we are anticipating that this condo market may be low for a couple of years, but at some point it's going to go up. Okay, so let's see here. So we are in Toronto. Okay, so I'm only going to look in downtown Toronto. Okay, and so at some point I'm going to also move my search to Vancouver, because that's where I also want to focus. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can find a building, okay, specifically one building that has a lot of listings. And the idea here is to find a bunch of listings in one building and then find the lowest one in that building. And that is the one that you're going to want to look at buying. Okay. And that's from the lowest one, the one that you're going to look at buying, to all the other ones that are listed in that building. That difference in the pricing is what you're making on the okay, so that's the idea there. So let's find one of these buildings here. So, well, see, look at that, 193. So that there's tons of buildings here. Okay, so let's see if we can zoom in. Let's see here. So we are at Jarvis, Yonge Street. Okay, so I do want to sort of be on the west side. I'm a bit of a West End snob because that's where I grew up. So let's go here. So we see, okay, so I want to target Adelaide with more. Okay, so I'm going to target, let's see here. There's University St. Patrick there. Okay, so I'm going to target that one there that has 10 units. Let's see if they are all in the same building. No, they're not in the same building here. Oh, no, there's a couple here. See the 230 Simcoe. Okay, so let's go here, because what I'd like to do is find something with all in the same building if we can. So let's see. Okay, so there's 3 in that building. Okay, so that's, so there's a bunch there. So let's go here. Okay, so there's 3 right there. So the 121 St. Patrick Street. Okay, and let's see here. Okay, so 499 to 5. Okay, see, so there you could see there's a 112 unit. So is 60K, that price point buy? Not really. I want to target at least 100K difference. Okay, so I'm going to just keep looking here. So, oh, there's one with 4 units there. Let's see if we can find something here that has, 93. Okay, yeah, see, once you zoom out, they lump them all together. So that's not the best range there. Okay, so let's see if we could find one that has a few units in there. And I do want to be close to something with the park. Okay, so Osgood is good. Oh no, that's going to be crazy there. I was over there the other day and there was like construction galore. So let's just avoid that. Trinity Bellwoods. Okay, let's see if we could find something in this area here. So Trinity Bellwoods is an amazing area. So if you can get in there, that'd be really good. Okay, let's see here. Do we have anything here? Okay, so there's one building here that looks like 7 units there. So that's King. Okay, so 705 King Street. So let's see what the price difference here is between the 1 bedrooms, which is $550. And then we've got a bachelor suite. Okay, so now look at this one. There is 600,000 for a 2+1 compared to a one bedroom at 470 for one bedroom. So that's not comparing apples to apples here. Like if you're going to look for a two bedroom, then you want all of your numbers and everything to be around a two bedroom. So that, you know, there's 130,000 there, which is great, but we're not comparing apples to apples there. So let's just see what else we have here. So 430. Okay, so that's for 519 compared to 437. Okay, so let's see this one. So this one, oh yeah, see, so this one is just a bath. It's not even a bedroom. So you know that one's a bachelor compared to say 429. So this is also a bachelor, but there's not enough space between the units. So there's no real gain there. Now this one's only 10,000. So that's the same thing. It's not really worth that. Okay, so you know, because I want to make money on the buy. So let's see if we could find something. And we may not find anything today. Okay. And that's part of the searching yeah, we just may not find anything. Okay. So that's about a 10K difference. Okay, so that's not going to work. Okay. So let's zoom back out and let's see if we could find something here. Okay, so I may need to go down a little bit south here. Okay, so I am assuming that you guys are all seeing my screen here. Oh, okay, so there's a bunch down here. So there's 11 units here. Okay, let's go. Where? Oh, nothing's showing up. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay, so that was a, whoop. Okay, I don't want to do that. I don't want to actually look at any units in detail yet. Okay, so we've got, okay, so there's $50,000 difference there. So let's see if we could see anything else. Oh, look at this. So here's an $88,000 difference. So this is a one bedroom, one bath, 500 plus square feet for 588. And there's one here. Okay, so, but this particular is a smaller unit. Okay, now the ranges are quite big in the sense that you're going from 0 to 500 square feet and then 500 plus. So this unit could be like 450 and the other one could be like say 510. So a 60 square feet difference for 100K. Okay, so that's worth looking into. Okay, so this one here, okay, so it's a 50K difference from these two, so that's not a big deal. But this one is a 500 plus there. So it's a 50K there. So let's just keep looking to see if we could find something that, okay, so look at this. So there are some significant differences here because this one is 700 square feet for one plus. Oh, so this is a one plus. That's already different. Okay, so you're probably getting some square footage in that plus one, which is like study. Okay, so it looks like this one plus might actually be worthwhile getting because you could potentially have a roommate or rent something out, or if you have a family. Okay, so look at this. So 565. Okay, to this one. So there's a 20K difference. Oh, sorry. So there's a 20K difference there, but it's still not the 100K difference comparable in size of the spaces there. Okay, so this is probably a walkthrough would make 545 compared to the other one that was what 590. So potentially there's a 50K difference there. Okay, so let's go to the second page and see if there's anything there. Okay, look, so I think we might have found one. So here is 478 for one building. So I'm just going to mark that so we can go here. And I'm going to, oh no. Okay, let's see here. It's not letting me do that. Okay, so, and why did we want that one? 480. Where's the other one? This one here. Okay, so I'm going to bring that one up. Okay, so see, so it opens up for me in a new screen. So we're going to do that one. And I want to look at the other one. And let's just compare those two because that was almost. Okay, so I don't want to look at this one because this is 500 square feet versus this one's 700. I'm going to bring that one up just in case, just just so that we have a couple to compare. Okay, so, oh no. There we go. Okay, up over here. So I'm going to go to the second page. Okay, and this is the one that I want. Okay, so now we've got 3 that we're going to compare. Okay, and I'm just going to shut down some of these. Here we go, just to make sure that we have the bandwidth for it. Okay, so let's go look at that first one and see what we find here. Okay. Okay, so this one is the Ice Boat Terrace building. Okay, so I don't know this building as much. Okay, so downtown Toronto, bright and spacious, 1+. Okay, layout that makes sense. Floor to ceiling windows, that's awesome. Okay, so natural light, large one den. Okay, so extra space for those walking home. Okay, so reading first time home buyers or investor. Okay, so it includes parking and lockers, so that might be some extra fees in that. Okay, so there is a strata fee because it is a condo. Okay, and it doesn't say anything here. Okay, so there's the maintenance fee, $721. That's one of the reasons why I don't like condos, because the condo fees are insane. Okay, so there's the sizes there. So from this, you can actually calculate out exactly how big it is. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so let's look at the next one here. So this is the 1+. So this is 700 to 800 square feet. Okay, so that's a 1+. So let's look at the next one here. So this one is 500 to 600. So it's about 200 square feet difference. So that's a huge difference for me. So is it worth the 100K difference? Okay, so I probably wouldn't compare these two together. Okay, let's go to the next one here. So this one is 600 to 700. Okay, so this one's a little bit more comparable. Ideally, you want the same footage. Okay. Let's run our numbers here. Den plus the bathrooms. Okay. This other one, this first one that we looked at was also 1+ plus bath. Okay. They're asking 580 for this one, and that other one that we're looking at here is 480. So there's your 100K difference. Okay, so let's do a quick calculation here. So I'm going to switch my screens here and show you the calculation on square feet. Okay, so if the, let's see. Okay, so that's the, missing $1. Building this out for the first time. Okay, the square feet, let's just put in 700 square feet. Okay, so then the price per square feet. Okay, so this will allow you to get a sense of how much the square feet is at any of the units that you're looking at. And so you can run that number very quickly. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're just going to take your 580 divided by your 700. Okay, so that is $828 a square feet. Okay, so now let's just say we're going to copy this number, these formulas over. Okay, and basically what I did was I just took the 580 divided by 700. So now let's just say we buy another building, it's another condo unit at 480. Okay, so that's your $100 difference, $100,000 difference. Your square footage is 700. Look at that. Your square feet, your cost per square feet goes down to 685. That's huge. Okay, so that's why if you can find a similar unit, but significantly price reduced for whatever reason, it may be worthwhile getting into this particular unit. Okay, so now I'm going to also copy this over because I'm interested to see at 600 square feet. Let's see here. So we're going to go back. Actually, I'm going to go back up to the 580 and I want to see if it's 800 square feet. Okay, so at this point, so you could see it's almost a little bit comparable here, right? From the first unit and the second unit for 480 to 580, if you stick to their 700 to 800 range, like assuming it's on the higher end, that price point, you know, is from 685 to 725. So is there that big of a price difference? It is still quite a, you know, it's a $50 a square foot price difference. So that can add up over time, which in this case, it's 100K. Okay, so let's just see. Okay, so that's one big thing. So now let's just say here, okay, so we actually calculated sort of like the difference here. So the average price range. So if you can get a bunch of units in that same building, list their price points, you can list them out here and then take the average of that price point. And then the one that you want to buy is your purchase price one. Okay. So let's just say we find one for 580 to 3, and then we find one for 570. 1, 2, 3. And then let's just say we find another one for 560. Great. Okay. So then if you take the and there's a formula for that. So it's equal average. Okay. Just basic, the more you can find, the better. Okay. And you're going to want, you know, decide if you want to eliminate 1 or 2 data points. That's entirely up to you as well. Okay. So I'm just going to throw in 3 random ideas here. So on average, the units, if you can find the comparable sizes, is around 570. And then let's just say you find one and you can put in an offer for, let's just say, I don't know, 480 in this case. Okay, the difference is going to be your 570, your average price, minus whatever you can get it for. That's a 90K difference. So you're making $90,000 on the purchase. Okay, so that's the idea here, is that you want to make money on the buy. That is one of the ways to make money in real estate. And if you can make money on the buy, that's fantastic. Okay, so now what does this look like in terms of mortgage payments or first-time home buyers and stuff like that? Okay, so for the first-time home buyers, you know, first-time home buyers, if you can do it, you know, ideally 5% is what you're targeting. Okay, so 5%. So let's just say it's 5% of your purchase price. Yeah, 5% of your purchase price. If you can do that, that would be fantastic. So 5% times your 480 is your purchase price. So you need 24,000. Like I would just throw up my hands and be like, okay, for 24,000, it might make sense just to do it. Because now you're in the market and you just sit there, you're living there. And instead of paying rent to somebody else, you're paying rent, the equivalent of your rent in mortgage payments, plus your maintenance fees. So you do have to consider that to the bank, and it's a bit of a forced appreciation. Okay, so now I also want to run this on like a 3-bedroom, because I've met a couple of people during my trip in Toronto that have expressed concerns about how they can actually afford to buy something in Toronto. Okay, and it's the same sentiment with Vancouver. Okay, so we're going to switch gears in a couple of seconds here. So what does this mean in terms? Okay, so let's just say you can't do 5%. Let's just say you have to do 10%. Okay, because of your credit score, whatever reason. Okay, so you're going to take your, let's see. So the formula to calculate your down payment is the percentage of your down payment times your purchase price. Okay, so if you can't do the 5 and the bank comes back and says, no, you have to do 10%, well, then your 10% is 10% times whatever your purchase price is. So that is $48,000. Okay, worst case scenario, you have to put 20% down. Okay, at that point, if you have to put 20% down, then that's sit down with somebody, even worth it at that point. For me, for a condo, if you have to put 20% down, it might not be worth it. So now you're putting in about $96,000. Okay, so for me, it might not be worth it at that point. Okay, so if you can get into the market at 5%, hands down, definitely run the numbers, because 5% is a great way to get into the market. Okay, so now what does this mean in terms of a mortgage? Okay, so let's do this as well. So for each one of these, I'm just going to build it out and you can see it. So this is going to be your down payment. Okay, so this is also your down payment. And then now we're going to just write down your payments. Okay, so this is going to be your monthly interest payment. We're going to assume a 25-year amortization, and we're just going to go with a 5% interest rate. Okay, so let's go here. So it's going to just be, I'm just going to type the formula here so that we can just figure out whether or not the monthly payments would make sense. Okay, because a lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck here. So we're going to take the rate divided by 12, and then the payments are 25 years times 12. Okay, and then the purchase, the value. Okay, so the present value is just your 480 minus your down payment. And then your future value is going to be 0. Okay, so I'm just going to update this formula with some, let's see here. So C21 is fine. So that's always going to be C21. Yeah, and then the C20 is always going to be that. Okay, and C9, okay, minus C17. Okay, so that's good. Okay, hopefully I got all the numbers right. Oh, I need to put in the dollar sign. So the dollar sign just tells you that it's going to be that cell or that number all the time. So let's see here. So in this first scenario where you're just putting your 5% down, your monthly payments is 2,000. Okay, but that's because your down payment is so small. So now let's just make sure that the second one, the formula is through right. See, so it's taking your C21, which is your interest rate divided by 12, then your amortization times the 12 months. Okay, and it's going to take your C9, which is your 480 minus your down payment of 38,000, and then your future value of 0. Okay, so that's that copied over. So you can see it's $150 difference a month if you were just to do 5% versus the 10%. That's not a $24,000 difference in your down payment amount, but then and you're able to reduce it. Okay, so you sort of have to weigh that. If you have the extra 24, it might make sense for you to put it down. But really, if you can get in at 5%, get in the market, use the extra cash that you have for your closing costs, because you do have closing costs, and then take advantage of all of the ways that you can pay down your mortgage a lot faster. Which Cash Property, we have a mortgage program to help you pay down your mortgage in 10 years. Okay, so if you don't know what that is, okay, it's the GLAD method. Okay, reach out to me separately and we can always get you that information. Okay, that information is 100% free. Okay, so here, okay, so these numbers that you're seeing here, oh, I do apologize. I just remembered that I need to usually make this bigger. Okay, so there we go. Sorry about that. Just remembered. Okay, so that is your monthly payments per month if you, depending on those down payments that you do. Okay, so let's now go and see if we can find a 3-bedroom unit that might work in that scenario. Okay, so we are back over here and I'm going to go back to the map and I'm going to go to the filters here and I want to see if maybe we can do 3+. I don't know, does that even exist? Okay, and look, so 3+ at 600, that's not going to work, right? So let's go up. Ooh, that is a lot. Okay, see, so if you're going up to $1 million for a 3+, that's when I would almost say, hey, you know what? You might want to just look at a single family home. Right now, $2 million. Okay, so maybe switch over to a home. Okay, so let's see what we've got here in terms of we say, oh yeah. And let's just, oh, I need to just go back to this search. Any, okay. Let's see if we can actually find something. Okay, so we're way too zoomed in there. So let's just see if we could find anything for, look at that. Okay, there's a couple of places in downtown Toronto that you could buy for under $1 million right now that have 3+ bedrooms. Okay, so if you've got enough to be able to get something at $1 million and you need 3 rooms, hands down, get a single family place. Don't even look at a condo. Okay, personal opinion there. Okay, look at this one. This Melbourne one. Okay, love that one. Look at that. It's 4+1 with 3 baths. Okay, so there's so many ways that you could leverage that. Little Portugal, 4+1. Okay, with 3 baths. So if you're living in one unit, you could potentially convert these into 3 units, like a triplex. Okay, so just some considerations there. Let's see here. What else do we've got here that might be worthwhile looking at? Yeah, no, I would go back to the 3 bathrooms. Yeah, so this Melbourne one and this Windham one, those would be the two that I would compare, and then just do the same analysis that we just did on the other one and figure it out. This now has potential for you to make some of the units rental or future appreciation by adding new units or putting in a completely different type of building asset there. Okay, let's see what's over here. At this point, bath or full bath, up it there because you can pretty much run the analysis on your own. Okay, now, as a reminder, if you are interested in joining us for happy hour with the WREN group, this Wednesday, we're doing it in Toronto, Vancouver, and Victoria. Okay, now I'm in Toronto, so you'll get to meet with me. And then on Friday is our happy hour. Okay, so that is our 30 minutes. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Have a wonderful week.